naturally going to be focusing on, as it appears the coach is focused on them, because that's a Senna ban, a Varus ban, and a Draven ban. Fun fact, a lot of us think of Draven as he's represented in solo queue. He's aggressive, snowbally, piloted frequently by people like T1. Very large, very bulky people, I think it's safe to say. G2 have been playing him like a scaling pick. You just sit there, stack up a million stacks, come at me. Eventually I'm going to kill you. Eventually I will ult and kill you, so you come bot, or you die eventually. Instead, however, with the Draven band away, Kalista, the first pick priority, allowing Team Vitality to secure an incredibly high priority, Orianna.
Curious if they take the Zins out here as well. Actually going to go with the Rel, okay? I was like, you can take a really strong mid-jungle here if you want to, and then you always leave the opportunity to, hey, look, maybe the Rel goes on the opposite side, but maybe they want to secure the Rel to ensure that you end up with a the chance to counter a Nautilus that is probably going to try and come through here for mikyx. So, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Zins out taken or just not giving that opportunity across, because Ori Zins out super strong. You got the Rel that wants to go bot into that Nautilus if it comes through. But already, I think a lot of attention going to be going down to the spot lane with the Kalista locked in.
Definitely. Ori now coming in as well, not into something like the Talia, instead into something like the Orianna. So might suffer a bit more early on just in terms of what Orianna can do in those early trades. Clockwork wind-up Orianna passive, just incredibly good. But as we get later into the game, potentially more room for Orianna to play make, as there's not that obnoxious Unraveled Earth to deal with.
So there's the Viego. So Ari Viego going to be the call. So again, G2 Esports started to bring this out more and more, where it is the, hey, we're going to play for the strong mid-jungle. But they did get denied by Fnatic in their game by taking the Poppy on the opposite side and then going, hey, you're not going to be able to play through this very strong lane. But curious to see if they want to try and continue this style here with Vitality. But no, actually going to go towards the Jace. So still keeping the hover of the Rel open, or sorry, the flexibility of the Rel open. And I think here you can then ban away things like the Nautilus, that kind of stuff, and just make things impossible for, honestly, Kalista to get rolling in that bot lane, unless you are just willing to go, hey, we're going to push the Rel in the bot lane regardless, and we're going to ban away top laners.
And remember that G2 have been playing some pretty shaky early games. Some of that has been amplified by the fact that they've been picking Smolder, a champion who's, regardless of the bot lane matchup, not always going to do a lot early on. But the fact that they've gone for Kalista here means we'll see a relative change in pace early on. Much more about Hansama and mikyx, almost guaranteed. I think your mid lane point is a good one. You know, without the Talia here, without the immediate reliable lockdown of something like a Poppy just standing on top of that Ahri, stopping her from getting away, I think there is going to be a lot of room for a guy like Caps to take over the game.
Even like Kalista as well, like there's so many dashes that are on the opposite side that you just get to run amok there. So
you are a Poppy merchant, I will say though.
I think she's really underrated.
I think she's really good.
She has insane.
She has two of the best abilities in the game, and neither of them are the one that knocks someone into the wall and stun them. It's the one that stops you from jumping and the one that can knock 3 people out of a team fight.
I thought it was going to be the hammer on the ground.
Oh, you like that? Just a little bit of wave clear, that does it for you? Fired up for that?
Maybe even throwing the buckler. You know,
the buckler's nice. Those ranged grass pox feel good.
Okay, so there actually is the Nautilus ban. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to just go, hey, we're going to put the Rel into bot lane, assuming you're going to go for Nautilus here for mikyx, but the Braum take ban on the opposite side. So I'm curious what they are actually maybe thinking of, because I'd be happy to put Rel bot here as a response to most of the engage supports that you'd want to go for, unless they're thinking Alistar maybe here for Mickey.
Okay. Now, I like one of those a lot more than the other, and it's not the cute dragon. It's the ugly void monster, but that'll do. That's a Bastion. It's like a half bird person. So that's a more interesting one. Does make a lot of the pick opportunities on the side of G2 Esports a little bit more difficult. The flash charms of the world, the flash Viego stuns. Now Carzzy has more defensive tools for himself, and maybe indicates that Vitality are not going to be focusing on the bottom side of the map, just giving him those tools to keep himself standing.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Maybe we're just going to look at like Renata here for Mickey on this bottom side. And just accept that, hey, look, a lot of this is going to be a case of throwing it out long range as Vitality go for the engage after getting what seems like a little bit of poke down. But yeah, the Zac for BB in the top side. Not going to go towards the Rek'Sai, his other usual blind pick that we start to see creep up, but actually going to go for the engage. So I thought they'd go for the Renata and just try and play for that instead, but yeah, curious here. I think you can still put Rel in the bot lane then if you want to, and open up Douglas to go for a different kind of pick here.
What is the option? The sheer amount of long-range engage with the Zac, with the potential for the Ahri dash or charm flash kind of opportunities, means picks are going to be easy for G2 Esports once they get to level 6 under their belt. Some of these laning phases might be difficult to navigate. Again, I haven't been the biggest fan of Leona. Alistar, a pretty conventional option, can obviously knock her up on the Zenith Blade in, but instead the Rakan, the lovers duo. You know, and historically this has always been considered a pretty big skill matchup.
Yeah.
Rakan can outplay, but Leona certainly has an easier time getting value in the lane.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one where Leona is very strong in the lane. The whole idea is with the Zenith blade, you can match wherever the Rakan decides to go. So as he W's in, you Zenith blade, he can't return to the AD carry because you're just able to lock him up in place, or you just follow along. So I think that's where you're going to be looking to see G2 Esports put a lot of pressure down on that bot side in the early stages. But as you get into more the open wide game, Rakan gets so much value from the ultimate that he has an opportunity to, I say outscale, but you know, it's all relative on how well you play.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like when you're in your final games of the split and you want to just play, you know, you're playing for seeding, you're playing to get as tie up as you can, you want something that's going to feel comfortable. And EU jungle support duos, I feel like if you're going to play anything to make your life simple, Rakan Rel is the option. It's so easy to always go in at the top side at the same time. Either of you can play off the other one's engage. Rakan has so much mobility. We saw, I think a big reason the GX have done as well as they have is the combination of Ignore and Peach together. I expect to see the same from Douglas and Hylissang, but that is the task at hand. Obviously, Rakan can also fall behind. Things can fall apart, and G2 are an aggressive bot lane who are going to try to push those leads. The other side of the map, though, I am nervous for Broken Blade to Zac into Jace.
especially with the changes to the JC, where you root and then knock back. Like, oftentimes you can try. I think you have enough time to interrupt the slingshot. I'll have to double check on that. So I think you might still get knocked up, then do it. It's a bit of a weird interaction, but we'll see how it goes through. But either way, G2 launch themselves into a game where they can potentially look to steal away that top spot. And Vitality looking to try and put themselves ever further up the standings with a win over the Big Bad.
And look, this game is incredibly important for the top of our table. If G2 win, they're in sole control of first place based on scoreline, and our top four will be G2, Team Heretics, Fnatic, and Vitality. That will push Fnatic out of top two. Top two crucial because you get to pick your opponent. You get the luxury of picking the people at the bottom of the table, which is always fantastic to have. But the same is true for G2 if Vitality win. That would mean tied scorelines. Because of our tiebreaker rules, it would be Fnatic finishing first, Vitality second, G2 third, Team Heretics fourth. So basically, G2 will go from fighting for first place to out of top two if they lose here against Vitality. Fnatic, of course, big Vitality fans right now, would love to be sitting at top two. And, you know, obviously if G2 win, they're in. And they take Team Heretics with them, so shout out to the 2019 G2 homies over there.
And with this setup that G2 has, it feels very much like they're going back to what has been their bread and butter and functioned well for them, right? Aggressive bot lane, engage for Mickey, strong mid jungle, and BB on something that's a little bit funky, but can like do well if he wants to leave side lane and actually like come down to interact with the bot lane.
It's funny that you say that way, but you're right. Like I think the more I think about this team, it's like, okay, give Hansam and Mickey something. Incredibly strong jungle mid duo. I mean, and with the Rek'Sais and the Zacs of the world, more and more our top laners are becoming just like weird pick enthusiasts.
But that's the thing, like BB's most played is Rek'Sai. he's played it twice. Everything else that's going like Volibear, Jace, Gragas.
Yeah, to be fair, he's played every other pick once. So it's not that hard. He just has to repeat a pick to be able to play it twice. But as expected early on, Jace's going to do well in this matchup. Maybe with a few more levels under his belt and some armor, Broken Blade will be a bit more comfortable. But you can see Yike clearing away from topside, meaning Broken Blade's going to be pretty miserable, and Photon's very likely to grab a plate here if no one supports.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is for Douglas just to try and get some early vision, which I think he's about to go for now. Actually, just a transitional gank, it looks like, but
Douglas, Q flash, caps. Not sure if it was predict. I would have to slow it down to figure out if it was a prediction or if it was just reaction. But either way, well played. Sees that that's really the only angle that the gank can work. Flashes back, but of course now something that can be capitalized on. Douglas' summoner spell is significantly less important than Caps's.
But it also means that Video can't be capitalized on. One of the things we see often with the Viego and Inari is flash, charm, your Orianna, set up them for Yike to come in, or at least you burn a flash onto Video, and then you just rinse and repeat, right? But getting that early flash out of Caps makes this laning phase significantly safer for Video, and realistically, that's all you want here for Vitality. If mid lane's safe, Photon should be able to push, and then you can actually just put some pressure down onto Karzi and Hylissang and make sure they're going to be safe here.
G2 taking control of bot lane though. Again, with the Callisto lane, you kind of expect that early on. Broken Blade doing okay, but Photon very likely to pop the passive here. Does get it. Unstable matter. We'll come back to life. I don't think Photon can push for anything else there, but already getting that down means if there is ever pressure or attention topside from Douglas, the dive is so much simpler to execute.
Photon just going to take the reset, though. Spend the extra little bit of gold that he's picked up and try and make his way back towards topside. Douglas spotting Yike. A huge amount of this is, again, Douglas just trying to make sure that Yike can't interact with mid or bot lane. Like, those are the two lanes that G2 want to try and focus on.
Zenith Blade. Now the follow-up CC. Carzzy can pull back on the feathers, but doesn't quite have 3 on the lineup. That's the Ignite down for Hylissang. Very positive health trade for the side of Vitality, but a sum in favor of G2.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just trying to ensure that Mickey gets pushed down low. He still has another pop, which he's going to pop now, but Hylissang trying to push him back because when Leona goes in, you have already seen like she has to go forward. So want to try to cover his caps.
Also need just to burn a pot, I think it's safe to say, or recall. It looks like recall is going to be the option
members
instead.
of G2 kind of around the map at the moment.
Uh-oh. G2 early game, question mark. Root now landing, Hansama locked up, but Yike there just in time, and now it's Hylissang who's been caught out! He tries to dash, he tries to flash out to safety, but the timing just not quite there as Yike takes Rakan to dance around and look cool, which is respectable, but big advantage to the G2 bottom lane.
A nice timing from Yike as well. With the way that everything had gone, they assumed that he would be moving back into topside to try and take his camps in the top end of the map that were respawning, but Yike goes reset, immediately moves into that bottom side and catches Carzzy and Hylissang out after they'd just taken that nice trade. So really good decision making from Yike specifically to get down to that bot side. Now Douglas though, knowing, hey look, you're gonna have to reset again, Yike, to come up topside. I've got some time to do these void grubs, but Yike may even forego more of his camps, may just look immediately topside.
Hylissang level 3 roam. Setup here is a bit risky because Douglas isn't too far off. They really need to be able to burst Photon down. He already queued forward, though. That might just be the death sentence to flash out to safety. Still the Spectral Maw connects from Yike, but he's only level 4. Jace just trying to dance on him with the Hyper. Douglas now coming in. Yike has to be very careful. Photon, if he swans back to Hammer Stance, that's going to be one dead Viego. There's the first. Broken Blade's got nowhere to go. No passive. Over-aggressive from G2, and Photon's more than happy to oblige them with a quick death.
Well, there's going to be more.
Pull back the follow-up. It's just a solo. That is a generous assist, League of Legends.
And Carzzy got out. He got the cleanse, he flashed, he managed to escape away from Mickey. I thought he was as good as dead, so 3 quick kills for Vitality. Top and mid have just gone massively in favor of them.
Certainly have. And I think the only frustrating thing of your Vitality is 2 of those kills are onto Douglas, but it'll help him at least keep up in terms of early gold, maybe get even further ahead. Photon, though, sitting pretty. Broken Blade wildly far behind, needs that passive back. Luckily held on to Flash to make plays, but you can see here they just don't respect.
Big flash from Photon to get out from underneath BBZ, and then Douglas, perfect timing here. And Photon, like, those sidesteps, really well played there. Blue Suede shoes out in full force. This Vitality have to get the 2v2. And then in the mid lane, as you say, oh, that's a frustrating Yike.
But I think this was a questionable call because they got the flash, they hit the stun, but they had burned all their cooldowns, and in the extended trade, Broken Blade's out of spells. I don't even know if you get out of that with more than 1-for-1. Hansama now forced to flash cleanse. Mickey trying to back away, but we talked about this with Leona. Footwork is okay, but he's still just eating autos for free. Yike now on the way in. Another Spectral Maw to try to find the stun, but Hylissang there to body block as Douglas steps out with the crash down. Mickey retreating, trying to get back under his tower, but the flash to follow up is there from Hylissang. Might want to keep the play going onto Yike. Yike retreating. Going back to the tier 2. Hansama left on his lonesome under the tier 1, but the wave not in the favor of Vitality. They won't be able to dive.
I was going to say Douglas, I think that's one you want to go in on. So manages to get the flash to get the kill, but Caps now starting to roam up towards his top side. Photon, the wave should be sitting just underneath his tower. Actually, he's just backed entirely away, so going to keep himself safe, and Caps finds nothing. Dragon now for Vitality. That's 3 grubs, 4 kills, a Dragon. Vitality, this is a phenomenal early game from them.
And I gotta say, Douglas has been everywhere that he's needed to be. We'll get a pause to talk more about Douglas. We've had a lot of questions. A lot of people, even this week on the podcast, were like, hey, is it time to talk about Douglas? It wasn't then. It's not 100% time now, but yet another good game under his belt, at least a good early game. Perfect positioning to be there on the top side. Nice follow-up play. Yes, maybe he could have crashed down in instead of out. That would have been nice, but thus far, he's ensured that the only losing point on the map for Vitality, which was bot lane, is now no longer a problem. That's a lead for Xayah.
Yeah, I think there's been multiple different activities essentially that have happened between the junglers, right? I think Yike is trying to play off these really minuscule timings that he's found to try and punish Vitality. So you're looking bot side, right? He doesn't go to top lane like you expect, or his top side jungle. He immediately goes bot, gets the kill there. He then tries to forego his caps again and then catch the timing onto Photon, but just doesn't quite get the kill, and there's just not quite enough CC to set up a BB to finish that off before Douglas can get up to top side. So I think it's been, yes, Douglas being in positions where he's responded well versus where I think it's more Douglas being proactive to find a lot of these plays.
Yeah. And definitely has just been shadowing laners who have been outplaying, right? VIT essentially got a solo kill mid lane. Photon had it, anyone could have been their top lane for Photon. So Douglas in the right spot. But so is solo lanes. They probably deserve the majority of the credit. I think it's a good point. Illisang stepping in, just trying to threaten caps. And they've just limited so much of the jungle mid duo. We talked about G2 kind of going back to what is comfortable for them. Trying to set up for more of these early games. Excellent sidestep from VTO. Hex flash forward. Unstoppable is Yike, though. Fantastic use of the Heartbreaker, but he's the one leaving heartbroken. His Caps is now in trouble. There's the Fed, Jace. Photon, he could do it on Rumble. He could do it on Jace. God, it feels good to have a Korean top laner in the LEC, Rob.
That is true. Feels good for Douglas as well to have 4 kills, but I really think he would like to have that spread out a little bit more. Okay?
I take it back. We're not praising Douglas anymore. This is highly suspect. You can't play Rel and also take the kills.
Still, though, I think it's the fact that they're shutting down some of these plays, right? 1k gold lead mid, or sorry, jungle, 900 in the mid lane, but Yike tries to interrupt the shockwave with his own ult, but he's still in a horrible spot. And then here, Caps, he's just out of mana. No charges left. No hope to try and get out.
There's no one else on the map. Did they miss? I mean, they must have miscalculated base timings or something, or thought that they had a window that just wasn't there, but that was sloppy. I mean, most of their team is in base. Broken Blade just got back to top lane. It is almost impossible for you to have man advantage in that circumstance.
I think it's more panic, to be honest, from G2, where it's trying to salvage the plays as you overextend. And here we go, Mickey goes in, but Karzi, he's fine.
Karzi's having a fine time. Hansama boots 2, is still going to get knocked up. Douglas can now follow. More CC, and there's nowhere for the Callista to go. Vitality are obliterating G2 Esports. Fnatic are sitting, living pretty, knowing they're essentially guaranteed at this point. Top 2, the Ignite ticking, and again, the Leona goes in well, but she does not go out. Karzi on a killing spree.
And the Fnatic fans in the corner are getting louder and louder as a result. They are very happy with the way that this one is going. Vitality, this has been great. And that time, Douglas, perfect setup, gives the third kill over to Karzi. Another turret plate going to go across as well. And what's the response here? Viego was just clearing out his jungle on the bot side. He's not going to be able to try and put any threat in towards the mid lane. And then the Vitality kind of just get to do it all without anything really happening from response from G2.
And this is on the way to being the worst individual week we've seen from G2 all year. I mean, their game against Rogue, you know, Marcoon everywhere, really shutting down that Smolder, not giving it the chance to scale, even if that game did get certainly messy at a couple points. But now the commitment onto VTO. G2 trying to push it back. The pull back on the Caps under tower is clutch. VTO still ticking the flash, the full commit from Yak. They desperately need this kill. And Viego will secure it. G2 biting back.
Just about able to get the kill. Good hold on the solar flare from Mickey to make sure that he'd be able to get that lock up long enough for Yike to come through. And it was just a nice timing. As you say, Vitality not in a position on the map. They'd all gone for those resets, so able to do it. Broken Blade, that might have been a bit step too far.
Yes, but Mickey is here. Thundering Blow, the knockback there. Mickey can follow up, but Yike a little bit too far away for them to be able to push any further. Will just be the wave crashed on top side, but here comes Karzi and Hilly. Caps in the brush. If he gets spotted, this is going to be bad. He's got no mana. They've got no room to make a play, and he's already forced to reset. Or, sorry, cancel his reset timer, excuse me.
We'll give 6 grubs to Vitality, though, because you can see Photon, he's going to be able to reset, TP back up into top side. You're trying to interrupt Hilly. Nice interrupt onto Caps.
Stop!
And again, you're just buying time because G2 stay down to the map
He's
after
not
the
done.
play. Won't be able to get it. There's not enough range on the Gleaming Quill.
Yep.
But there you go, pushing topside with the TP back from Photon. They pushed in mid. That's 6 grubs now for Vitality and a minute until Dragon. But might have taken a little bit of time. G2, I don't think they want to try and contest, but they are in the area.
Well, Cap's already TP'd to the bot lane. VTO still has his TP, so this is not really the play that G2 are looking for unless Vitality overcommit. Bait's call now forced out. Mickey pulled back to safety behind Sama, but the quickness comes in from Hillisang. Charm again onto this Leona.
That was way too over-aggressive from Hilly.
I feel like they should have finished the last grub, personally.
I agree. And I think they also shouldn't have committed Hilly there, because realistically... Oh, hang on, Caps.
Shockwave. VTO trying to get the Ahri out before the next play. Might just be trying to get for the kill. Command attack. Foxfire just to get the extra movement speed and step back.
But I was about to say, Vitality had already got the lead. No Hansama ultimate for Mickey when the next dragon was about to spawn was like fantastic. Mickey has only one way he can go in and he's not coming back out. But you can turn a focus on him. Karzi should be able to finish him off. But now Haley again, take a step too far forward. We'll dash it to video, but I think this is where Vitality had their win and they can play for a minute's time. But instead they're trying to capitalize too heavily, too quickly. And it's actually giving opportunities for G2 to kind of take a breather, reset and come back on an even footing for the next fight.
Yeah, you were pretty close to getting everything you wanted in that exchange, where you basically get Caps' TP for free because Hylissang cancels that recall so many times. If it had completed, he could have just walked bot and he would have had that TP available. You could have gotten all 6 grubs. 5 is, don't get me wrong, it's plenty. It's not like you need the 6th, but as well as getting the Fate's Call, you feel like that just sets you up for the next fight. You talked about it. And this Dragon, his cooldowns are still going to be gone, but now Hylissang hopefully will have the quickness and time. If Vitality have the setup, Caps first on the wave in bot lane, and Hylissang has to be careful about stepping too far forward. Damage now onto Photon. Big wave there. Mickey X and Broken Blade should have enough damage to finish off the Jace, but Photon still going in. The Eclipse not enough. The Ignite ticking. The Jace will fall. Broken Blade getting a bit of vengeance on the top side with support from Mickey X.
And this is just the timings that are being punished here by G2. Vitality tried to do too much. G2 get back out of the map. Shockwave once more.
Caps finally forced to dash out to safety. Taking away the Spirit Rush. Takes away so much of G2's playmaking. Vitality, 3 members committed into the mid lane, 5 scrub buff. They're going to shred through this tower so quickly. Yike off to the side, but with Douglas and Hylissang here to cover, with Karzi having cleanse and ulti available, there is no getting onto this Xayah.
And they can lean into bot side as well. Caps is too low, has no TP, so the immediate force onto bot lane means that they should be able to, maybe with the next wave, get the tower. But actually, I was going to say that wave was cleared out by Caps just as before he reset, so it will just be Dragon instead. But at least Vitality's starting to get a little bit more control again on the map.
Vitality have to be feeling good. They've gotten every objective in the game. First tower belongs to them. 5 grubs, 2 dragons. Yes, a 2K gold lead. Not insurmountable, certainly. The good news for G2 is they finally have an avenue to get something back for themselves, and the Herald might allow them to break open mid lane tower. But the game for Caps especially is so much more difficult with mid lane tier 1 down. Look how far back he has to play. It could just be VT on the wave. It could be 3 people. He's not sure. So has to give the benefit of the doubt to the side of Vitality.
It also becomes very difficult to use this Rift Herald now as G2, because how do you try and force a wave state where you can actually get the advantage on mid wave? Because essentially what you're going to see is Karzi and Healy force mid wave, shove it into the tier 2. Healy leaves, groups with Douglas, they get top tier 1 with Photon, right? You establish a bunch of vision on top side. No real wave state for G2 to take a tower. So unless they completely abandon the top side of the map and lean in with Caps on this bot side to use the Rift Herald there, maybe they can get a tower, but one bot lane tower going down in trade for a top lane tower and use of Rift Herald is still a big win for Vitality. So G2, I think this is why they're trying to set top side here. Look to get the pick as Vitality are starting to move up towards Photon top side.
If they can punish Vitality when they skip a step, this Herald can be incredibly impactful. But you're right. If we enter just a normal game state as it is right now, so heavily Vitality favored, it's like a consolation prize. It's like half a turret's health bar. It's not going to do anything. G2, again, you can see with his mid lane tier 1 down, it's so hard for them to step far forward. And Callista's wave clear against Xayah right now is just so much slower.
Yeah, it's so hard to try and contest this. And even if you try and push on towards Karzi, he just ults and walks away, right? So I think that's why you're seeing Karzi pretty much free to go in and push wave solo. All that you're trying to do here is Karzi is shove this wave hyper aggressively and fully establish vision on this top side. If you know that there is nobody on G2 that is contesting this top lane push, it becomes significantly easier for Photon to get that tier 1 by himself. BB can't really stick around, and that's why spotting out Yike and stuff here is actually pretty key, but I'm surprised to see them backing off. I thought they'd continue the pressure here, because you've only got like a minute 30 that you can actually play off these wave states. So 3 more waves before you got to go and reset for a Dragon coming up.
This game is so hard now for G2 to do anything. I mean, credit to Vito as well. He's just been getting aggressive on Caps consistently, making sure he never can leave lane, even if he does manage to get pushed with more than like 40% HP. Means any piece of CC connecting certainly would finish the job. As Hylissang looking to get this started off. Quickness goes in. Zenith Blade to try to interrupt, but Photon there. Douglas coming in behind. Flash keeps Mickey safe for now. Herald Path shows that Yike is on the way, and Vitality don't want to overcommit.
Caps has TP and he's missing off the wave, so they want to make sure that they're backing up and not giving that across as Video goes to accept the wave on bot side. So they're going to play it slow for the moment, but again, it's just rinse and repeat for Vitality, right? You just shove in wave now. You've already got the vision on the top side. You know that Mickey has to reset. Cool. Now slip into the top side once more and do the exact same thing. Photon going to start hard shoving the wave because you can already see they're leaning towards that top side as Vitality, but not actually going to go for it again. I think you're missing opportunities here where you could actually try and contest onto the top side, but they're looking for Caps instead.
Trying to catch Caps, but Caps spots them. Smart uses the Scryer Bloom behind him, anticipating a potential play here. And this is the tricky part of playing against G2. Now, the good news is there's not a Smolder. They don't have inevitable scaling on their side. But in order to really press them in the mid game, you have to be so diligent around your waves. Otherwise, you're falling back to, I think, what every team falls back to, which is they will eventually have to fight us at the 4th dragon, Rob. But you don't need to go that far into the game. You shouldn't have to wait for that angle. You are so far ahead, you should be able to end it before then, or at least get an even bigger advantage. But if you can't find the good waves to play around, if you let G2 catch waves everywhere on the map, push you out, it's so hard to navigate the mid game.
And this is where you get to see the G2 Classic to try and find those picks. Reset at a minute 10 before Dragon. You can see just got it for hands. You get it for Caps here as well. And they're going to try and come back out of the map, push out waves, and immediately try and find picks on the map before you get established as Vitality. Because most teams will reset now, which is what you're seeing for Video with the 50-second timer. But Lily might be able to get into the top
Broken
side.
Blade uses Let's Bounce to get out to safety. Picks up a little blob and gains 500 HP, which definitely makes this one a little bit tougher. Vitality can try to play off the next wave to break the tower, but with VIT already moving to the top side, it gets a little bit more difficult.
So there's two things that G2 can do here. They could abandon top entirely here, but it looks like they're not going to, and try and set up for a Dragon play. Or they can try and hold on to the top tier 1, but I think this might actually be a little bit of a mistake. I think you can contest mid-wave, set up vision, and look for picks on Vitality as they start to go in towards Dragon, but not feeling comfortable enough to try and go for it. They really want to hold on to the tier 1.
It's just tough because Mickey's in position to punish Hellsang for stepping that far forward to lay down that vision. But they don't have the upfront damage to just immediately kill a Rakan, especially one with Locket, with Flash, guarding if he's able to get back to the rest of his team. And so that opportunity doesn't really present itself. They're not in a position where they can just instantly burst someone down without Caps in the area. Herald will finally get used. Better than expected, essentially allows G2 to cheat tempo. And they're already there to cover a potential Dragon play, so not bad. Really getting the gold a little bit closer, not giving up too much.
Yeah, Vitality had recessed. Douglas and Karzi gone back to base, so G2 actually finding that window to get that Herald usage, and Hilly, that was close. But now G2 get to try and set up for those picks. That was very close to being exactly what you needed from G2.
TP from Broken Blade into bottom lane. Wants to push that wave out and force somebody to respond. Control of the tribe belongs to G2. Mickey fishing for VTO. That would have been bold. I think that Zenith Blade might have been the death of him, but Broken Blade in the area means there could have been some follow-up.
G2 have missed their chance, though. Now it's Vitality. You have mid-control. They're going to be able to push in. You see Hansama drifting across to try and accept that wave of the tier 2, so you missed your chance in Caps.
Nice sidestep from Caps. Could have been over-calculation there from Hylissang as well as Yike lays down the Herald path, but Vitality remain unconcerned. Faith in their ability not to give the 50-50. Charm connecting a bit of poke onto Vitality, but the Dragon is theirs. You can see Hylissang wants to make a play. This man is not happy with a single objective, and I think it's going to cost him his life. Beautiful Zenith Blade comes in, and actually it's going to cost Douglas's as G2 fish for the angle and find the kill. You already got the Dragon, you greedy goose. Why are you going back for more? And it's VTO who's going to pay the price. Hylissang's hubris leveraged beautifully by G2.
And it would have been so easy for Vitality to back away, go mid, collect the wave, shove into the tier 2, and force G2 out of this bottom side. But because they don't want to, they want to find more. G2 collapse. You'd already see Karzi was moving back up towards mid lane, so G2 find that window of opportunity to get the pick. And now Video completely isolated sets up another kill for G2.
Yep, and that's the scratch the back of your head moment where you realize, hey, enemy jungler has a lot more CC than he's supposed to. Ah, I see he is my rel right now. Okay. Bit of a tricky one. Again, G2 not ahead by any means, but that play is big for getting the gold a little bit closer. 2 items now for Caps. Still only about 1.5 for Hansama. We'll see when he recalls if he can complete something. And Vitality, aware of their fumbles, but it's not going to make Hylissang any less confident. Charm not connecting from Caps. Vitality with the vision control over Baron. Man, what, Rob? He can't help himself. I love Hylissang so much, but he can't help it. They know! He loves fighting. It's in his bones. It's like Conor McGregor in trash talk. He just has to do it. Now Hylissang goes. He finds the two-man. The immediate follow-up isn't there. Caps untouched on the backside of Vitality. Already got the pick. Good play. Now the tier 1 has fallen on the top side. Vitality again. They've got the vision control over the Baron, but they want more picks. Yike in trouble now. CC there. Pull back there. Yike trying to get a safety heartbreaker. Not enough. And Hylissang, the two-man knockup. He wants more. And he just keeps going. This time it works out for them at tier 2 tower. In the sights of Vitality, turning back to the Baron now. A bit of a moment of hesitation there. Are they confident enough to just force this? It's 30 seconds on Yike. They absolutely should be.
Mickey's coming into the base, but BB has to reset. No TP for him. Caps doesn't have it either, and he's gone. So this is going to be Vitality. The picks and the tower into the Baron. They finally managed to get that play to work.
Incredible stuff. And I'll never get tired of it. I'll just say it again. Hylissang, he goes in. He knows what he's about. He's not going to get flustered by a single play. You got to respect the confidence.
60% of the time, it works all of the time.
Every time, baby.
Go in, and this is perfect, right? Because Hilly actually has a great angle here, gets Yike and Caps on the backside after Douglas with a great engage. I thought the jig might have been up as Video got spotted as they tried to set up for that depth rush, but it doesn't matter. Vitality able to make it work, and you can just see how happy the coaching staff is behind them.
I can't... The gestures were happy, the face wasn't happy there from Pat. We'll ask him later if that was a happy...
He's been hurt before, okay?
He's been, yeah. Yeah, a lot of throws this particular season. But now, Broken Blade going for the engage. VTO fishing for the side step. Flash out from Carzy, giving that respect. Pull back onto Broken Blade. Passive going down. Broken Blade should just die here. The question is, Vitality, do they want to keep this fight going or be happy with the single pick? G2 looking for the angle, trying to take one Baron buff away, maybe two, and just delay the push here. But now that BB's down, it's going to make it that much harder to defend.
Watch Caps. Caps is off in the flank. They haven't spotted him just yet. And they're trying to send Photon down to bot side. He'll still be good 4v4. And Hilly is even trying to find the flank his own.
Carzy has ultimate. He's stepping back into the rest of his team. Hansama off to the side, but Hylissang wants to keep it. Hansama still untouched. Caps untouched, but the TP now coming in. Hylissang strong. Yike trying to back away. Pullback is there. Photon doing good damage to Jace. Just tearing through G2. But now the turn. They're trying to bring it back. Caps one more dash to finish off Photon. He gets one back. Double kill for the Jace. Douglas wants to finish off the Ahri, but he knows he doesn't have enough in the tank. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the push already coming through. Carzy still alive. It's a chaotic fight, but it is still the push in favor of Vitality.
Douglas is keeping Caps engaged, and it means that at least Carzy and Hilly can get the wave to get the tower. Video shifts to bot side to collect that as well. So even though the fight looked a little bit funky, it's still only Photon going down for Hans and Mickey, and you're getting so much more for Vitality. Nice attempt from G2, but Vitality's responded well.
Certainly have. Thunderdome being prepared as well. 30 seconds until the Cloud Drake. It'll be Soul to the side of Vitality. When you see a Rakan on the opposite side, that is a concerning Soul to give away.
And you can see here, so basically Caps is trying to come in on the top side. They're trying to get on into Video, but the problem is you just don't really have the control there that you really need to go. Carzy is totally fine to stand behind his front line and go for this. And with Photon TPing in, the numbers advantage starts to come through where they can actually set up properly for it. The kill on top side, they push in on bot. We're back to Dragon though, and people are caught.
Break back. Crab has been now picked up. VTO is the charm follow-up there. They don't quite have the angle. Let's bounce coming from Broken Blade, but he's so damn squishy. Yike up to the side, cannot do anything. Feathers have flown. Carzy could be vulnerable, but they're just too far ahead in the fight. Vitality again playing it so cleanly. VTO stops the pick from coming through. The setup onto the Drake is theirs. Hylissang moments away from the ultimate, now coming back. Yike burning, ticking, wants desperately to get the reset, but he can't do it. Caps now, 3 stacks left on the dash, but he's only going to be able to run back to base. The Q flash, the shattering strike from Douglas. Shattering hopes of G2 to be in the top 2, pushing them down. Fnatic fans elated. Fnatic will be in sole possession of first place after this win from Vitality. One last desperate stand. G2, can they bring it back? The answer is hell no. VTO eyes on the Nexus. He's not interested in playing for kills. He turns his attention away, but his confidence in the final moments from Vitality. They lock in top 2. They lock Fnatic in alongside them, pushing down G2 and Team Heretic.
And what an incredible performance to do with. Douglas getting control of that bot side, making sure in good shape. Photon has been an incredibly strong performer for Vitality so consistently on the Jace, showing up again. And with that, Fnatic and Vitality are top 2, with G2 shifting right the way down to 3rd.
And they were better.
Yeah.
They got the plays in
completely.
They got the plays on top side. Bot lane, yeah, a little bit iffy, kind of as expected given the power that G2 brought in draft, but they still managed to bring it back. They built a lead took over. Your key player of the game at we see on X, Photon, Douglas, Hillisang are your options. All very good options. I'm not going to try to sway you anyway, but what I will say, as we see the final bow here, is Vitality know they've done good in the regular season.